Students, today we're going to discuss the n-term rule of a sequence. So this is to clarify previously our discussion regarding this lesson. So first, we have here identify the 10th term of the sequence. So this is actually your quiz number 2. So I am just clarifying things how to answer using the new formula created. Okay. So first, we have here the first step is you have to identify the first term. So in this regards, the first term is 29. So you will write 29. Next is you have to identify the pattern. So if you have to identify the pattern, what are you gonna do? So you have to take note what happened to the pattern, to the sequence. So we have here 29, it's decreasing. So therefore, we know that what happened is decreasing. So there should be, we have to use subtraction symbol or operation. So after that, what happened to your sequence? What happened? Is it decreasing by 9, decreasing by 2, and is it consistent or no? So as what we can see in the sequence, it's decreasing by 9. So from 29, it decreased by 9, it becomes 20, decreased by 9 again, it becomes 11, and so on. So what are you gonna do here since it's decreasing by 9, the pattern is decreasing by 9. So you will write 29 minus 9. And then after that, the third step is you have to multiply the pattern to n minus 1. So you multiply this pattern to n minus 1. So you will write here n minus 1. This is now the expression or formula of this in finding the n term of the sequence. Now, in finding the 10th term of the sequence, what are you gonna do is you have to substitute this one. So, in substitution, you have to take note that what are we gonna do first is you have to follow the MDAS rule. So, let's try to substitute now n. So, in substitution, we just have to substitute n to 10 since you are asked to identify the 10th term. Okay, so we have to change the value of n to 10. So this time we have here 29 minus 9. So what are we going to do is we write here 29 equals 29 minus 9. Multiply it by 10 minus 1. Remember in PEMDAS rule, you have to solve first whatever is inside the parentheses. So first, what is inside the parentheses? So we have 29 minus n times 9. Remember that this one is a multiplication symbol. This one. Okay, that's a multiplication symbol. So what are we gonna do next is you have to, of course, you will do the multiplication first since that is our priority in the MDAS rule, the MD. Okay, so we have 29. What's 9? 9 times 9, it's 81. Therefore, if we answer 29 minus 81, remembering the operations of integers, subtraction, that means this one is separated and this one is separated. Okay, that means 29 minus 81 is equal to, that means debt, and this is your money. So if you have 29 pesos and you have debt 81, the result is still debt, and then but less debt already. So negative 52. So this is your answer in this sequence. Okay? So that is your answer in this sequence. I hope that is clear. We will proceed now to example number 2. Okay, this time we have identified the 10th term of the sequence 12, 18, 24, 30. So again, the first step is to identify the first term. So our first term here is 12. Afterwards, you have to identify the pattern. So as we can see, it's increasing. So we have to add it by what? 6. It's 6 because the pattern is increasing by 6. Plus 6, 18 plus 6, it's 24. And then 24 plus 6, it's 30, and so on. So the answer here is 12 plus 6. Again, remember that last formula or last step, that is to multiply the pattern to n minus 1. So substitute n now to 10. Again, we substitute it with 10 because you are asked to identify the 10th term. Okay? So substitute n to 10. We have 12 plus 6 10 minus 1. Again, do the parentheses first. Equals 12 plus 6 times 9. And then do the multiplication. So we have 12 times 54. So the answer here, so we have 66 is the answer. Okay? Okay, next is example number 3, or this is number 7 in your quiz number 4.2. Okay, so what are we gonna do here is you have to identify 10th term of the sequence, negative 2, 10, 12, and 34. So, as what you can see, it's increasing. Having ang utang, di ba? Remember that negative is an utang in the integers. So, after that, you already have 10 pesos, and then you have 22 and then 34. So, again, the first step is to write the pattern. To write the first term. So, the first term is negative 2. After that is to write the pattern. What do you think is the pattern here? So, the pattern is actually, so from 2 pesos, so if you want to pay your 2 pesos, you need to have 2 pesos. Afterwards, you also have 10. That means you have 12 pesos all in all. So, there is, you pay the 2 pesos, that is your debt. And after that, you have 10 pesos also in the next sequence. That means there is an increase of 12, right? So from here to here, there is an increase of 12. And from 10 to 22, there is also an increase of 12. The same thing with 22 to 34. There is an increase of 12. So if you do not understand about integer, maybe you have to go back on our third quarter last lesson regarding understanding integers using the number line. Okay, so this time, as what you can see, it's the pattern is increasing by 12. So you have to write here plus 12. And then remember that the third step is you have to multiply the pattern to n minus 1. By the way, the examples given to you, starting from the very beginning, remember that the pattern is increasing and decreasing, and it's only it's repetition of addition or repetition or subtraction. So you have to take note on that, because in the later part, if we will no longer be dealing with those repetitions of addition and subtraction, there is a different formula already if you are dealing with multiplying. Okay? The pattern is multiplying. So this is only applicable if the pattern is repetition of addition or repetition of subtraction. So again, we will now substitute n to 10. Okay, substitute n to 10 because that is what is asked for us to substitute. So we have negative 2 plus 12 times 10 minus 1. Then close parentheses. Afterwards, we have negative 2 plus 12 times 9. And then we have negative 2 plus, what's 12 times 9? That is 108. So 108, and then you have 2 pesos utang. Remember how to do that? So you have 2 pesos utang. What is the result? 106. So your answer now is 106, or the 10th term of this sequence is 106. Let's proceed now to the fourth example. Okay, let's have this example. Again, the step 1 and step 2 is still the same. The step 1 is you have to identify the first term, which is 12. So you will write here the first term, which is 12. So write here the first term, which is 12. And then afterwards is you have to identify the pattern. So what happened here, first is it's increased by 12. After that, it increased by 24. Now take note, the increase is not a repetition of addition. So maybe this is a repetition of multiplication. So let's see if it's a repetition of multiplication. So what do you think what do you think is the number multiplied to 12 so that we can get 24? So I think it's multiplied by 2. Okay, so now we know the pattern already. It's multiplied by 2. So 12 times 2, it's 24. Times 2, it's 48. And then times 2, it's 96. So there is an increase, multiplied by 2. So therefore, class, the pattern is times. Take note, if you are dealing with times, you have to put parentheses there. So multiply it by 2. But take note, multiply it by 2, you will not enclose it yet because in the third step, you have to put n minus 1. But you're not going to multiply it by 2 or to the pattern. What are you gonna do is, you will raise it. No, the n minus 1 becomes an exponent. So you will write it here, n minus 1. It becomes small because we are making it exponent. Remember that if you are dealing with repetition of multiplication in the pattern, you have to raise or you have to make the n minus 1 into exponent and do not multiply it to the pattern. Make it as exponent of the pattern. Okay? I hope that is clear. The only difference between the examples earlier and now is the third step. Okay? That's the only difference. The third step. The first and the second step, it's still the same. Find the pattern, which is 12. And then after finding the pattern, 12, you have to identify, find the first term, which is 12, and then identify the pattern. That's the second step. The third step is already different. This time, the third step is you have to raise or make the n minus 1 as an exponent of the pattern. Now, let's answer now this one. Again, you are asked to give the 10th term, so we have to substitute n to 10. Take note, not all the time we will substitute it to 10. That depends on what is asked there. Okay, so 12 times 2 raised to the power of 10 minus 1. What's next to this? Okay, what's next to this is equal 12 times 2 raised to the power of 9. So again, in PEMDAS rule, we have to do first the E before the M. So exponent first before the MD. MD means multiplication and division, right? So we will do first exponent. So 12, what is 2 raised to the power of 9? So the answer to that is 512 if it's not a mistake. So remember how to do the exponent, 2 raised to the power of 9. So we have 2 times 2, that's 4 times 2, 8 times 2, 16 times 2, 32 times 2, 64 times 2, 128. How many 2's do we have there? 9 times 2, 254. Sorry. It's 256, and then the last one, if we multiply it by 2, the ninth factor 2, that means it's 512. And then therefore, we have 12 times 512 already. So we have to delete everything here. And then the answer to that, 12 times 512 is, so that's 6,144. Let me know if this is wrong or correct. So it's 6,144. So I think that's all for this discussion. Regarding the word problem, of course, it's still the same. The first step is, before you proceed with this one, identifying the expression or formula, before identifying the formula, of course, in the word problem, you have to read first and then identify what is the first term in the problem. That depends on how the problem is being stated. As long as you try to understand, you comprehend, and then try to determine the sequence first so that you can create the formula or expression like this. Okay? So, in the word problem, you have to identify first this one. Okay? The sequence. I hope that is clear now regarding this lesson. Okay? You can still use the old one because that is based on grade 6 really, but if you're having a hard time on that, then we will move to algebra or distributive. That's why I'm using now this one. Okay? I hope that's all. Goodbye everyone.